That's the second time he has jumped off sides, and his teammates tell him, calm down, John, calm down.
Offense. Well, they say, you know, at this point in the season, they've already had 14 football games, that at this point, those kinds of mistakes should be eliminated, but you never really eliminate them. I mean, you work all season long, and it doesn't matter in the heat of battle, and this is a heated battle. Okay. This is Popovich in motion. O'Hara rolling to his right. Looking deep. Hernandez. Oh, the ball was almost intercepted by Bill Nolan. Hernandez, the intended receiver. No wonder he was anxious on the last play, Mike. You wanted to hurry up and get deep. Running a post pattern, and O'Hara actually had him open but couldn't get the ball over Bill Nolan, who's a fine defensive back. We've seen lots about him that we like so far. All right, let's go on the field now on Dennis Green to see what's happening down there. Dennis?
Right, Tim and Mike. Mike Murray hurt his ankle again and is twisted, so he should be able to find out pretty quickly if he will come back or not. But they're not sure. It's not a knee. It's definitely an ankle.
All right, Dennis Green on the sidelines, and this is Lane Tech on the attack. Dan Cochran got the stop, and Jeff Devine and Dan Zurich helped stop him. I said Cochran got the ball, not the stop. Picked up 3. And so now Lane faces third and about 12.
Cochran, another one of the athletes, good athletes we're going to see out here this afternoon. He, too, a big-time college prospect, has been looked at by Nebraska and BYU.
You know, it's something that we'll talk about throughout the day, Mike. A lot of the schools like Nebraska, Oklahoma, BYU are shopping in Chicago because there's so many prospects here. Nice throw over the middle. Popovich with the catch. Popovich. Perjanik made the stop. Boy, he has good hands. He's got, you know, he did relatively little during the season, and now in the playoffs he's just come alive. He's really caught fire. 9
touchdowns during the playoffs, and watch Les O'Hara here. Straight drop back, great throw. He's got a good field of vision, and Popovich rather does what every receiver's supposed to do: catch that ball in traffic and don't be worried about the hit.
I've seen him make some spectacular catches. That was a fine one, and it gave Lane a first down on about the 40-yard line. Here's O'Hara on the keep. He's rolling to his right. Picks up about 5 or 6 yards before he's brought down by Pope and Zurek.
Well, we talked about O'Hara's ability to throw the ball, and he did have 12 touchdown passes this year for 843 yards, but he also is a fine runner, as those statistics right there indicate. 4.9 average on the ground, 524 yards. What's surprising is Mount Carmel runs almost the same kind of offense that Veer and the option offense. I thought they'd be defending Lane Tech a little bit better than they are so far here in the first quarter.
O'Hara's 6'3", 190, and he has big-time size. He could develop as a college quarterback. He hands this one straight up to Cochran on the dive play, running right at Dan Zurek from Calumet City, Illinois.
Nothing fancy here. Lane Tech leads at 7-0, eating up a lot of time on the clock. 4:20 remains here in the first quarter. Now Lane's got another great drive going.
They're facing 3rd and 1 here. This has got to be a tremendous psychological. Of course, Lane's played Gordon Tech, and they played him twice now, and they understand what it takes to beat a Catholic League team. So I don't think they came in here with too much of an underdog complex. This one up the middle, and Caravan really on the stop there. That was Cochran. Pope and Sawicki were both in there, along with several teammates.
It's going to be awfully close, Tim. Pope was the first man to reach him, and Sawicki cleaned him up.
They didn't even measure. They're putting up 4th down. And it looks like Sam Bronswck is going to go ahead and punt it. Sam being the coach at Lane Tech for 8 years. And he's got one of the best programs in the public league. Everybody knows that.
Cochran also doing the punting here.
Gets a good kick. This is Callaway handling it back, and he fumbles back to about his own 10. Let's see what he can do. Now he wants to come back this side. He shook off a tackler, but he was finally dropped there by Kevin Brining. Great play by Callaway and a great tackle by Brining. And the score is 7-0. Lane Tech has the lead with 3:12 left in the first period.
It's going on now. The running of the 48-hour half-price marathon sale at the Waterbed Mart. $300 water beds are half price. $400 water beds are half price. And look, this entire kids' water bedroom set is half price, too. Plus, the finance deal you've been waiting for. No down, no interest, and not a penny to pay till March of '86. The 48-hour half-price marathon sale ends Sunday night, only at the Waterbed Mart. Oh, check the white pages of your phone book for the Waterbed Mart nearest you.
No matter what you do this holiday season, you'll want to stop and take time out for Highland's Holiday Sale with some of the lowest prices of the year. Like this RCA 19-inch color TV with remote, just $296. And this Techniques AM/FM 25 watts per channel digital stereo receiver, only $97. Highland's Holiday Sale ends Monday night, so don't be left out in the cold.
Well, we're out in the cold, but it's not terribly cold. We certainly don't feel left out. Soldier Field actually kind of balmy for this type of year, or this time of year. Mount Carmel's got the ball on their own 11-yard line. This is Danko up the middle to Washington, who keeps going. Looks like he picked up the first down, give him about 11 yards on the play, as Chris Spade had to come up from his safety position to help bring Washington down. He's like Charlie Tolar, if you remember him from back in the 50s and 60s.
Tolar was only about 5'6". James is 5'11", 215. As you take a look at the Lane Tech defensive line, Casillas, Majeski, Kirkwood, and John Taylor. Rudy Salinas, Jim Palumbo, Billy Garrett, and A.J. Wackel, the linebackers. And, of course, their three-deep secondary, Brian Aranza, Derek Faulkner, and Chris Spade, number 40, a two-way player for Mount Carmel.
It's a fine defensive team for Lane Tech.
Or Lane Tech, rather.
All right, here's Danko back, a straight drop back, a rare drop. Callaway's out there, but a beautiful, you were just talking about Chris Spade, the two-way player, Mike. He made a terrific job of knocking the ball away because Callaway had beaten most of the coverage. Boy, he is a fine-looking player.
Danko is not known for his great arm, but he throws the ball fairly deep here. Callaway had those two defensive backs split. If the ball was thrown just a little bit farther, Callaway might have had a chance, but Chris Spade comes up with a heads-up play.
All right, so Mount Carmel going for it all on first down. Now they face 2nd and 10 with about 2:40, not about, exactly 2:40 left in the first quarter. And Carmel brings two wide receivers down here, split to the right, the bottom of your screen, one split up top, another straight drop by Danko with a screen pass. Lance Bonner gets his first chance to carry the ball. Derek Faulkner and John Taylor were both in on the stop, and it's a nice pickup for Mount Carmel.
Well-designed play. They had two wide receivers, Nate Turner, number 85, and Callaway split to the right. And they ran Mike Dilger, the tight end, was split out to the left. They ran him deep, and that set up the screen play to Lance Bonner, number 41. As you can see, very close to a Mount Carmel first down.
We're going to give him about 9, it looks like, and we'll call it 3rd down and 1. You'll see less than 1. They string the chains out.
You know, Timmy, this is the first time that Lane Tech and Mount Carmel have ever met before in their entire history. They met once.
1950.
No, it's the first time. That's what I was going to say. 1950, and it was this prep bowl here.
And that's ironic in itself, Mike, because these are two of the greatest schools in Chicago in terms of tradition, history. Lane Tech of the Public League, Mount Carmel the Catholic League. We got a brochure before the game from Mount Carmel that was, what, about 75 pages thick, with every little shred of history of Mount Carmel football, starting lineups going back to the 40s. Phenomenal, and they call themselves the Notre Dame of the Catholic League, and with good reason. They have tremendous tradition, as do so many of the schools in the Catholic League.
This is Mount Carmel's 11th appearance in the Prep Bowl. That's unprecedented. They won it in 1983, beating Simeon 28-6. But they trail here this afternoon, 7-0 to Lane Tech, 2:25 to go. 3rd and inches for the Caravan at their own 32-yard line. 33-yard line.
All right, they're going with a double tight end formation. No, I'm sorry. Turner split out here to the near side, and he's back. They don't call the penalty. Turner seemed to have jumped. Bonner got the carry and apparently has the first down. Scott Majeski with the tackle. You know, that's interesting, Mike. Here's a flanker split out wide here, and I don't know if we saw it even on the screen. He's nowhere involved with the play, and he moves forward. Just shows even when he knew the play wasn't going to involve him at all, he still was anxious to get out there and get it going.
There's a look at head coach Frank Lenti, his 2nd year at Mount Carmel. He was influenced a great deal by Lou Holtz in Arkansas, where he was a graduate assistant. Last year he went down to visit Bill Yeoman down in Houston. That's where he gets his veer offense from. Fake to Washington.
Over the middle again to number 85, Nate Turner. And he's finally brought down by Spade and Faulkner. Derek Faulkner in on the stop. Nice play. Obviously, Lenti thinks that play is open, and he's working on that part of the Lane Tech secondary.
Again,
30-yard
almost
gain.
identical offense here. The fake to Washington here. Danko just coolly pitches it over the middle to Nate Turner, 6'1", 196, a junior out of Chicago, and this kid is fast. Third, as I mentioned, third in the state last year in the 110-meter high hurdles.
That's a lot of speed at wide receiver with Callaway and Turner. And now it's first down for Mount Carmel on Lane's 35. They still trail 7-0, Mount Carmel does, and we have 1:35 to go in the quarter. Danko straight give up the middle to Bonner, and he is overwhelmed by 6 or 7 Lane Tech tacklers. Majeski led the charge along with Ruben Casillas. A loss of about 2 on the play. Frank Lenti knows that Lane Tech has unusually good size for a public league school. Lane Tech is able to match up physically pretty well with Mount Carmel.
Lenti, of course, himself a Mount Carmel graduate back in 1969. He played in the Prep Bowl in 1967. There were 62,000 people here. Then before the state playoffs were adopted, they beat Dunbar that year 37-0.
And he said he would never forget that situation. You know, we mentioned there the Notre Dame of the Catholic League. They talk about the disappointing 6-4 year. And this is a nice pass outside to Lance Bonner, I'm sorry. Picking up about 7 or 8 on the play as Bill Garrett and Milan Popovic both combined to bring him down. So from a 3rd and 12, we go to a 2nd and 12. Now we're 3rd and 2, so give him 10 yards on the play. Nice recovery and a good pass play. Danko's throwing a bit more than we expected to see, I think. I think we expected to see more running plays.
Well, one sets up the other, and if Washington can get his yards inside, those little swing passes, and of course the fakes to the fullback and the throws across the middle are going to be there this afternoon.
This will be the last play of the quarter. They just get it off. Up the middle of Washington, and he is stuffed by A.J. Wackle and Ruben Casillas. So Lane Tech digging in and stopping the caravan, who will now be looking at a 4th and 1 situation as we resume action in the beginning of the second quarter. And there you see your score. Lane Tech a surprising 7-0 lead over Mount Carmel.
There's nothing you can do about bad weather, but you can protect your pants, coats, and the carpeting in your car from rainwater, snow, salt, and mud with the Pant Saver Car Mat. Pant Saver's deep central pan holds up to 16 ounces of water, and these exclusive ridges help keep the dirty water, sand, and mud away from your clothes, so you'll save on cleaning bills. Pant Saver car mats come in a variety of colors, in sizes to fit both the front and rear of your car.
Pant Saver car mats make a great Christmas gift, and they're now available at these fine stores. The William Tell Inn can be the perfect answer to your question of where to dine, dance, have a party, reception, banquet, or meeting, day or night. Your every desire is met for lunch or dinner. Beautiful rooms, perfect location, everything you could want or need. And the prices will really please you. Phone area 312-354-4200. That's 354-4200. The William Tell Inn.
And we're back live at the beginning of the second quarter. Let's go to Dennis Green on the sidelines. Coach?
Well, you know, the key thing, Tim, is that Coach Bronswck said he was going to throw the ball early, and the big pass play on the first down was a key factor. I think the other thing is that the big fullback Cochran on the option, with Les O'Hara keeping the ball in behind, has really been able to keep Mount Carmel off balance. The other key factor, though, is the speed of Washington and Callaway. It could be just a moment before those guys can really break loose and get on the board.
All right, Coach Dennis Green is absolutely right. There is speed, though, on both sides of the line, Mike, and we saw the explosiveness of Lane as they got right off the bat on their first series. Let's see what Mount Carmel can do on a crucial 4th and 2. Bring it around the reverse. Nate Turner's got some room. Tiptoes down the sidelines and almost went all the way, but he's forced out of bounds on the 16-yard line.
Kind of a gutsy call. It looks like perhaps that Nate has pulled a hamstring or nothing. On a 4th and 1, a reverse usually takes a long time to develop, but Turner's got such great speed. He is able to get outside, and a la Walter Payton, he tries to tiptoe down the sidelines, but he does pick up the first down for Mount Carmel. The ball resting at the Lane Tech 16-yard line.
It is a gutsy call. When you have great speed like that, it's you feel like you got your pretty good weapons going for you. As Mount Carmel now facing 1st and 10 on the 16, and they're also facing a 7-0 deficit. 2 receivers split to the bottom of your screen. Here's Danko throwing the ball away, intended for Washington. On the swing pass.
Had it set up. Washington had a convoy in the person of number 65, Stan Pengal, out in front, a 6-foot junior from Chicago. Could have picked up a couple of yards there, so it's 2nd and 10 now for the Caravan. Look at Turner at the bottom of the picture trying to stretch out that leg.
It does appear that he's got a bit of a pulled muscle. Danko, by the way, Mike, is 4 of 6 for 63 yards, and that's pretty good passing for a guy who during the season was under 50% in his completions. He's facing 2nd and 10 now, and looks like he wants to take another look at things, as he didn't like the look that the Lane Tech defense was giving him. We alluded earlier in the telecast, Mike, to the dark jerseys. We'll talk more about that as we come back. But the score is 7-0 Lane Tech with 11:50 left in the 2nd quarter.
Velvet. Brushable, crushable velvet. You're looking at $1,100 worth of fine furniture. Now, look at Homemaker's price. Both pieces, $688. Traditional sofa and love seat. Traditional value, $1,100. Now, both pieces, $688. It's a special purchase. And when they're gone, they're gone. But look, both pieces, $688. Real oak trim, easy care fabric. Not $900, but $588. This week at Homemakers.
A while ago, I made myself 3 promises. Never wear a tie, work for anyone, or be any place I didn't want to be. That's why I drive a Chevy S10 4x4. It lets me work, play, all, go to dinner with Kim, or fishing with Sue. You know, if it doesn't fit in my Chevy S10, it doesn't fit in my life.
Who's Kim?
Nothing worse like a Chevy truck.
Mike Adamle, Tim Weigel, and Dennis Green back here at the annual Prep Bowl from Soldier Field. Lane Tech hanging on to a 7-0 lead here with 11:50 to go here in the 2nd quarter. Mount Carmel mounting a drive of their own. The ball sitting at the Lane Tech 16-yard line. It's 2nd and 10.
Well, let's see what kind of adjustments Mount Carmel made to that Lane defensive alignment they were looking at. Danko with a fake. Throws it wide to Callaway. He's got lots of room to run. And he's finally forced out of bounds by Brian Aranza. Boy, Callaway had lots of room to maneuver as he picked up the 1st down.
Nifty little move by quarterback, too, Mike Danko. Here's Callaway in motion, and he'll turn it upside. But the thing that made this work was the fake inside to James Washington. Callaway does the rest, knocked out of bounds out at the 4-yard line. 1st and 10 and 1st and goal, rather, for Mount Carmel, the Lane Tech 4.
That fake did freeze the outside linebacker and opened the way. When you have Callaway one-on-one with a defensive back, the odds are in your favor. And Aranza did a nice job of staying inside of him and forcing him out.
He was one of the players who made the big stop along with Bill Garrett against Bogan to preserve that 7-6 win.
I'm sure that Frank Lenti doesn't like this now. He's had 2 timeouts in the last minute, which really sort of, you know, it's 11:40 left in the half, and I'm sure he'd like to have those timeouts as we get later on into the action in this half.
Well, so far it hasn't been a problem. Tim, you mentioned the jerseys being the same dark colors this afternoon. I don't know if how the quarterbacks feel about it, but well, we've been doing a good job of identification.
I think that it's a little tough on the audience. One of the problems, of course, was that Lane Tech feels that their green jerseys are their good luck jerseys, so they didn't wear white, which normally is the province of the home team in a situation like this. Coach Green, what do you got down there?
It's been really exciting because what the key thing that Mount Carmel's doing, they're playing a lot of plays where they're swinging the ball out to the backs and the receivers. And the last play to Chris Callaway, they caught Lane Tech in a blitz. They were in man coverage, and that wide receiver crackback block and was able to get Callaway outside. There have been a lot of key plays, and the other interesting thing is this 2nd timeout call. There's been a lot of excitement, and I think maybe that Mount Carmel's a little bit excited. They want to slow it down a little bit.
That's true, and they don't want to make any mistakes down there either when they're getting this close to tying it up. Now here comes Callaway in motion. He goes inside with a nice block, and Washington's in for the touchdown. Callaway in there helping out, so he can go inside and outside. side, and Mount Carmel has made it a 7-6 football game on that 5-yard touchdown run by James Washington.
Little counterplay for Mount Carmel. Have to credit the center. Here it is. Danko reverse pivot, and there he goes. It's a great job of blocking by Tim Winnessay, number 75, and Dilger blocking down. Easy to see why they scored.
And we also had Scott McCabe in there for Mike Murray. Bill Murray. I almost said Bill Murray. All right, here goes Mickey IHSFCA to kick the extra point that he hopes will tie up the game for Mount Carmel's Caravan. Kick is up, and it's good. And we have a 7-7 football game.
Well, we said, Tim, it was going to be exciting despite the relative imbalance over the years between the Catholic League and the Public League. It has been every bit of that.
Yeah, if you look back since 1959, the Public League as a matter of fact, won it only twice when CBS beat St. Rita in 76 and Julian beat Joliet Catholic in 79. But last year's game, very exciting. Julian was in command until the very end with De La Salle. Well, they didn't fold. De La Salle came in and took it away from Julian.
Lane Tech, this is their 7th appearance in the Prep Bowl. They last won, however, in 1959 when they beat Fenwick.
19-0 was that score, and then Fenwick later went on to demolish Schurz 40-0 in 1962. I was about in high school at that time, or getting there. I remember those years. This game does have a lot of memories for anybody who's lived in the Chicago area. I don't care if you grew up in Antioch, Gurnee, Palos Hills, or right here in the city. It's always been a showcase game. Here's IHSFCA with a nice kickoff. It's going to Popovich. Trying to get outside, and he's got a hole. He almost broke it. Popovich does not have great speed, but he certainly knows where to run. Bill Spire was in there to help make the stop for Mount Carmel.
Well, you know, there's great speed, and there's such a thing as deceptive speed, and I think that's one of the reasons that Milanovic Popovich this year has excelled. He's not exactly a slow guy. Maybe a Mount Carmel defender looks at him and say, hey, I got a beat on him, and all of a sudden he's gone.
Sort of Fred Bolitnikoff-ish, huh?
Looks a little bit like Fred. He's got the long sleeves and the white jersey hanging out underneath, and he does a great job of finding the opening, the seam.
Fashions have changed, and his hair's not as long as Bolitnikoff. What a great catch. Oh, boy. Mr. Popovich, just as we're talking about him, he certainly made a Bolitnikoff kind of catch there. Just a flat-out fly pattern down the sidelines, and O'Hara cranks it up and lets it fly.
Nice spiral. He's got one-on-one coverage, too, with Terry Ward, Mount Carmel's best defender. And Popovich, with great concentration, hangs on. Say, Les O'Hara has showed me something this afternoon.
He does, and you know, it has to give the quarterback a lot of confidence, Mike, to know when you're going to throw the ball in a vicinity, you got a receiver who can make the difficult catch, as Popovich can.
And he stayed in bounds, too.
Beautiful, beautiful play. O'Hara with the flip, and it's a bad one. Spade trying to chase it down. He's in big trouble, and we have a big loss. Bill Nolan, number 27, came in from his safety position. This is going to be a loss of about 10 yards. And Lane Tech is now going to be facing second and about 20.
Here's another kid who does it all, Bill Nolan. He's the starting catcher on the Mount Carmel baseball team. It is now 3rd down and 20 yards to go.
Like I said, 3rd and 20. Hara with a straight drop and slight fake. Looking for the screen pass. He's got Spade is out there. Got plenty of room to run. He almost got the first. I think he did get the first down. Scott McCabe finally came up to make the stop. Nice play. Well executed by Lane Tech, and they do have a first down. Pick up a 20 yards on the play.
Caravan coach Frank Lenti must be going crazy. Watch the fake there by Les O'Hara, and then the screen is set up perfectly. Scott McCabe, as you mentioned, Tim, number 54, one of the lead blockers, and very close to that first down. Spade, we always talk about Don Cochran. He was their 1,000-yard man, but Spade, too, rang up some yardage in 1985, 672 yards to be exact. 7 touchdowns.
And we're a bit premature on that first down, Gimme, because it looks like it's about half a yard short.
Oh, we said they were going to measure.
Did I? I don't remember saying that. I thought I saw him hurdle past the midfield stripe, as we say in the trade. Well, let's see. It is a first down. Come on, guys, don't make us look bad like that. It was obviously a first down. O'Hara, 4 of 7 for 106 yards, and he's having a fine game.
Look at Mount Carmel's drive, 12 plays, 89 yards. Ran off 3 minutes and 42 seconds off the clock, and it was culminated with James Washington's 4-yard burst over the right side.
Sometimes the casual fan who may have played high school football 10, 20 years ago has no concept how sophisticated these guys have gotten. The offensive scheme is just really very intricate, and so is the defense. As O'Hara fumbles the ball and manages to see if he got the handoff. It looks like we have a fumble in there. And Lane preserves possession, but apparently lost about a yard on the play. Curtis McKinney was on the bottom of the pile for Mount Carmel.
Both coaches asked referee Sam Daniels this afternoon, because the Soldier Field turf here is a bit slippery, to have several balls ready, and that may be one of the problems. Just set it down, and it is wet out there, and that's probably caused some of the fumble exchange between Les O'Hara and his center.
This surface here at Soldier Field doesn't really drain terribly well, even though it is relatively new. You and I have been down there for Bear games and found it to be real slick. And O'Hara with a nice fake pulls it back out. He's going to pick up about 6 yards on the play. Mark Dobbins finally stopping him from Mount Carmel. That was a real nice fake.
Well, you know, a lot of quarterbacks get a little antsy. They don't like to stay in there long enough, and O'Hara just keeps his poise. He just holds it in there, holds it in there, holds it in there, and then he takes it away, and then it's too late.
Well, that is the word, poise, because a quarterback without as much experience as he's had would be encouraged to just pull it. Oh, I can't give it. I got to keep the ball. It was very deceptive. He has a very nice feel for the field, and he's a good thrower, runner. I like him a lot. He's a good-looking quarterback, and there he is. Now, some of the girls around Lane Tech might think he's good-looking in another way, but we're talking about his football ability there. He's back on a straight drop, looking for his receiver. It's Popovich, and he can't find him. Dobbins, who made the tackle on O'Hara previously, is the defender there on the pass. And it's going to be 3rd and 4 for Lane Tech. Fourth and four. Like I said, 4th and 4.
Mount Carmel had the safety blitz coming that time. Number 27, Bill Nolan, from the outside.
So Lane Tech's going to kick it away and try to pin Mount Carmel deep in its own territory. This is Cochran who will do the kicking.
Callaway back deep, number 11, the speedster from Mount Carmel.
He's going to take this one on about his own 18-yard line. He's got a little room to run, but he's quickly wrapped up by Popovich. Boy, he does do it all. Covering the kick, catching the ball, playing defense in the secondary, a fine-looking football player. 9:16 to go in the half, and it's 7-7. Mount Carmel and Lane Tech. So far, the game has been everything we've expected it to be or even hoped it to be, and we have lots more coming up.
Every day is gonna be your day. You know the feeling and you know the way. Your style brings out the best. You know what it takes to live life refresh. 'Cause Coke is me and Coke is you. Coke belongs to you and everything you do. You know you're going one better. We got a taste for you. Coca-Cola.
It's the spirit in the air, the sound that you hear, the spirit that exists in a true pioneer. It's the pioneer spirit, it's the pioneer drive, it's the pioneer spirit brings your body alive. Pioneer, she's a pioneer, he's a pioneer, be a pioneer. Catch the spirit of a true pioneer.
Back live with 9:16 to go in the half. And there you see Mount Carmel ready for its first play of this possession. Double checking the signals there, the left guard and left tackle for the Caravan. Mike Danko has Chris Callaway in motion. Little crisscross in the backfield. Lance Bonner is in trouble as the Lane Tech defense swarms him over. A.J. Wackel was leading the charge, and he lost about 2 yards on the carry.
Well, that strength of the Lane Tech defense is inside. A.J. Wackel, number 69, and 84, Bill Garrett, the two fine inside linebackers, make most of the tackles. They try to funnel everything inside to those two players. because of their athletic talent.
Both of those guys could conceivably be big-time prospects. There's A.J. Wackel. Garrett gets most of the publicity. He is definitely a big-time prospect. Scouts say, Mike, there are 150 potential Division I players in the Chicago area alone. It's a heck of a year for this region of the country. There's a little screen pass out to the side. James Washington was absolutely snowed under. Ruben Casillas, one of the first tacklers to get to him. Lane Tech had that play diagnosed perfectly, and it's now going to be a 3rd and a 20-yard situation, and they're on their own 16.
Here's that little swing pass that was working so well early on, but Casillas now, Lane Tech apparently made some adjustments on the sidelines, and we're able to read that one. We've heard Casillas' name mentioned many times this afternoon, a guy who registered 5 quarterback sacks this season, 6'2", 185, and a senior for Lane Tech. This is his last year there.
Let's see if they come up with a big one. Well, if they want a big play, they go to the big play man. That, of course, is Chris Calloway. He gets a couple, but not too many, as Chris Spade helped bring him down. He got up to about the 25-yard line, and that's not nearly enough. It'll be 4th and 12, and the Caravan will punt the ball away. As Dennis Green mentioned earlier, there's virtually no wind today. And, Mike, that's unheard of on the lakefront. You always have some kind of gust, swirl, sash, or whatever around here.
Don't be Mr. Gloom. Keep your fingers crossed. Let's hope it stays this way.
What do you mean, Mr. Gloom?
It's a great day for football.
I'm just saying how great it is.
But it may come by. Don't give us the kiss of death.
Oh, boy. These ex-jocks are so superstitious. All right, let's see what Walsh can do on the punt. You know, I would hate to see a dome in this city. I mean, how else could we sit up here with a nice cold nose and a nice warm coffee and enjoy ourselves? Editorial comments will be withheld, though, until later. Here's the punt by Walsh. It's a decent one, coming down here to Spade on about his own 40-yard line, and he quickly goes out of bounds. As Bill Nolan, boy, Nolan looks awful good to us, Mike. He was the first one on the coverage.
And Spade did a nice job of just handling the football. Sometimes that's all you ask of your punt returners. Don't worry about doing something flashy in the form of return. You've got the ball on the sideline. Just field the ball, get out of bounds, and we'll have pretty good field position. Well, they do on the 42-yard line.
Your old buddy Fisher from the Bears was the key example of that. There's a guy you always wanted back there. He may not go all the way, but he'll never fumble the ball for you. And that's the one thing you don't want your punt returner to do, is give the ball back. All right, Lane Tech has the ball. Once again, O'Hara in the beautiful fake twice, and he looks like he's got something going, but he's finally ankle tackled there by Terry Ward. Nice run by O'Hara, picking up about 8 yards.
And again, the guy who sets it up is the fullback, number 35, Don Cochran. When he gets the ball, he just doesn't give a lazy fake. He gives an all-out fake, and he takes about 3 players with him, and O'Hara does the rest. He had a chance to pitch the ball, the option to pitch the ball, but decided to keep it himself, and those nifty legs got him about 8 yards, actually 9 yards. It's 2nd and 1 now for Lane Tech. Ball resting just inside the 50-yard line.
Okay, O'Hara comes this side with it, and this time he does pitch the ball. Spade's got it. He's getting something going outside. Dives across the 45-yard line to about the 43. John Furjanic made the stop. His brother Tony, former All-Stater at Mount Carmel and the captain of the Notre Dame Irish team this year. Pick up a 6 for Chris Spade, who looks pretty good. Mike, I like your point about the hardest thing to teach a running back to do in high school is to fake when you're not carrying the ball.
And here's a guy who's had a big senior season. He is not the star of this game statistically, but when they look at this game film tomorrow or the day after, or maybe for the rest of his life, his grandchildren, they'll say, hey, Dad, you did pretty well.
Talking about Chris Spade?
Talking about Don Cochran, the fullback.
Oh, okay. Well, he's a little ways from grandchildren, but you never, I don't know, you never know. Chris Spade with the carry and John Sawicki with the stop on 1st down. He lost about, maybe 2 yards on the play. That's going to be 2nd and 12. See, I have high school kids, and I worry about becoming a grandfather already. Of course, I worry about a lot of things. Right now, if you're Sam Bronswck, you're worried about holding on to the football. If you're Frank Lenti at Mount Carmel, you're worried about stopping this very imaginative Lane Tech attack. They really can come at you in a lot of ways. There's the keyway. O'Hara is snowed under. Holy smoke, great charge by Scott McCabe, number 54, along with John Sawicki. Fine-looking nose guard, as you mentioned earlier, the All-Catholic League nose guard. 4-yard loss.
We've got a little nose guard up here in the booth. We're going to be talking to him a little bit later, the one man who won the MVP for De La Salle.
He hasn't grown any since last year. He's still just as short as we are. Well, that's the great thing about high school football, among many great things, is a kid can play interior line at 5'9", 185 pounds. If his heart is big, it doesn't matter how big his body is. Although it helps to be 260 pounds. Here's O'Hara with third and a long way to go. He's throwing deep. The ball's up for grabs. And usually when it is up for grabs, something bad happens to you, and it's an interception for John Pope, All-Catholic League linebacker, second-team All-Catholic. Great interception. To take it away from Popovich, you got to be a pretty good athlete.
Well, that was the first bad pass that Les O'Hara has thrown all afternoon. He really threw that into practically triple coverage. You see it again, Pope working here in the slot formation. And there's Pope, hits him first, and this ball a little bit underthrown, and Pope back there.
Great.
Great reaction to the ball. John Pope.
That was Pope on Popo, as Popovich is likely to be called. The guy has more ways of saying his name than anybody I've ever seen in a football game, but he's certainly exciting to watch. Now he's going to go back on defense as Mount Carmel's taking over the ball on their own 43-yard line. Danko with a straight drop. Throwing to Callaway. Nice throw. Just a little bit high. As Callaway and Spade get into it a little bit. He's trying to hit that seam in the zone. Danko has a pretty good arm, Mike. I know he's not counted on to throw the ball that much. Traditionally, they have a veer offense, but puts the ball out there pretty well.
Sure, he set a school record this year at versus St. Lawrence with 16 completions and 177 yards. He throws spirals that are easy to catch, and he's a good little field general, too.
Yeah. From Evergreen Park, Illinois, on the southwest side of the city. They come from all over, not only to come to Mount Carmel, but to Lane Tech as well. So we really have a city battle here, north side and south side. Right now, the south side has the ball with a 2nd and 10 on their own 43. Danko fakes to Callaway, looks over the middle, nice pass, and let's see if he held on to the ball. Apparently he did, close to a first down. Mike Dilger, the tight end, with a rare reception for him. And he's very close to first down yardage. They're going to measure, apparently.
Very well conceived play. You're going to see Callaway come in motion and the fullback diving in the middle, and there's Dilger, the tight end, across the middle. Did he make that reception? Yeah, I guess he did.
From this angle, it appeared he just got it before it hit the ground. He had 3 cracks at it, and the third time was the charm. And they're going to bring in the sticks.
By Callaway going in motion the other way, it took the secondary away from the area that Dilger was moving into, and that's why they made the reception and picked up the yardage.
These are the kinds of things we're talking about. When we played high school football, we thought we had all sorts of sophisticated floods and veers and things like that. You got a guy in motion this way and a couple of fakes. And imagine trying to cover a play.
Well, we've seen the Chicago Bears do that last play several times this season.
Yeah, they just don't imitate the Bears barking at their opponents. They also imitate their play concepts, too, and they do a doggone good job of it. He's ruled just short, so we have 3rd and 1. Interesting situation for Frank Lenti. 3rd and very short, and the ball is on the lane 47. What do you call here, Coach? You'll get it now with 3:51 left and a half?
Well, Washington can get just about anything he wants, although they're not lined up in that formation that's conducive to that right now.
Well, let's see what the call is. He could be looking at a fake and going deep, but no, he's going to stick. No, he's going wide, and he gets the pitch off, but it's mishandled. It appears Lane Tech's made the recovery. Brian Aranza, as DeMar White was in there, could not handle the pitch from Danko. And a stunning turnaround as Lane Tech has stopped the caravan and recovered the fumble.
Here it is, the fake to Bonner, and perhaps Mike Danko rather, should not have pitched that ball because it was a very dangerous pitch, and his running back was moving away from him, number 33, DeMar White. And Aranza, again, Lane Tech's big playmaker.
That was a tough call because he had been hit. He knew he wasn't going to get the first down. He was trying to go for it. Here's O'Hara working outside. Popovich trying to stay in bounds. Got a nice job. Now we have, he's apparently hurt himself. He's hurt seriously, it looks like. He's clutching touching his elbow. Let's see if we can determine on the replay how he hurt himself. He kicks the ball away, beats the corner, tries to stay in bounds, and then he hit his elbow on the AstroTurf, and now he's back in the game. Glad to see that. I had not seen that collision from this angle, from that particular angle. Thought maybe he hit a yardstick or something. Or a cameraman's tripod. The yardsticks are on the other side.
What an afternoon he has.
He's a great player. He really does. He's telling the coach what happened. Hey, coach, I'm all right. Let me back in there.
Well, number 27, Ray Kalman now coming in to replace Popovich.
He made the catch to start the game that went for, what, 60 yards or so.
And Carlos Godin is also in there, the junior. He is flanked wide to the left.
Okay, O'Hara with a nice fake inside. Cochran, he bulldozes his way through the Mount Carmel defense. Devine and McCabe were both involved in the tackle and a pickup of 3. Time a bit of a factor. We're down at 3:07 now remaining in the half.
You know, one of the... Excuse me, Tim.
I was just going to mention that the Carmel lost 2 timeouts earlier in the half, but that's not really a factor. Lane Tech's the one that needs to stop the clock if they want to get on the board.
Popovich back in the game. He is at the bottom of your screen, split wide to the right.
O'Hara looked at him. O'Hara under a lot of pressure. McKinney just about got him, but he got the ball away, and he hits his receiver. Ray Kalma. Terry Ward with the tackle. Nice job by O'Hara.
Oh, he had 2 people draped all over him. Curtis McKinney, number 35, looked like he might be able to drag Les O'Hara down. And then I think number 47, Dan Zurich, if we see it on replay again, had his chance. But here's the heads-up play by O'Hara. There's McKinney, misses his chance. Here comes Zurich. He can't get to him, and Ray Kalma just keeps drifting over and over closer to the sidelines and makes the reception inbounds. First down, Lane Tech at the Mount Carmel 21-yard line.
Terrific play running to his left. They say that's an unnatural throw. A lot of quarterbacks like that run to the left. And here's a run straight ahead by Spade, who was pulled down by Jeff Devine by the jersey. Spade up, though, for close to maybe 5 yards on the play. 2:25 to go in the half. And they're going to give him about 6 on the play and make it 2nd and 4 for Lane Tech's Indians. And they're trying to take the lead.
Good look at Les O'Hara. What I was going to mention, you know, one of the schools that is recruiting him, Minnesota, but that was when Lou Holtz was there. He knows he wants a guy that can run the option. Now Les isn't so sure. He may want to take a look at Notre Dame now because of that. But he really runs the option and the veer well.
All right, here's O'Hara looking straight over to Popovich, and they rule it incomplete. He couldn't hang on. Popovich with a slight slant in there from the right side, and O'Hara just couldn't get the ball up. Minnesota's looking at him, huh?
Minnesota, University of Nebraska, somebody who can run that option play, run and pass well, and certainly Les O'Hara has all the credentials.
That's pretty high caliber competition. He's a pretty high caliber quarterback. He's been very impressive to me. 6 of 12 for 132 yards. And you've alluded to it a couple times. I think the most impressive thing about it, Mike, is his coolness. He's a very poised quarterback.
Been in a lot of games this season. This is number 15.
That's amazing. He's under pressure again. He throws left, and this time he can't get it to Popovich. Some of the Lane fans are going to be continually hearing us say Popovich, and they know him as Popovic. And I want to repeat myself, and I'll maybe say it later in the second half, but we talked to Milovin personally, and he said, hey, you call me Popovich. So that's his name. All right.
Sam Bronswck on the sideline sending in the plays with his wide receiver, Ray Kalma, number 27. They shuttle in the plays most of the time. Frank Lenti, the Mount Carmel coach, will call them from the sideline. We'll try to get a shot of that a little bit later on.
And we had a big penalty on the last play. Let's let referee Sam Daniels tell us. Holding.
Still third down.
Well, so often we have seen this afternoon that Mount Carmel will give drive Lane Tech back and set up these long, 3rd and long situations, only to watch Les O'Hara get off the hook and make the big play.
He's got a long way to go this time. He gives it to Popovich on the reverse. Popovich got the ball. A nice run. Oh, my goodness, he's going all the way. Sensational run by Milovin Popovich. I can't believe it. What are you telling me about deceptive speed, Mike? A 30-yard gain? I thought he was dead.
There it is again. 3rd down and 18 yards to go, and Mount Carmel can't keep him Inside first, number 75, Jesse ties, and Popovich breaks a couple of tackles, 29 yards to the score. It is 13-7, and Lane Tech is on top. And what an afternoon from Milanovic Popovich.
Boy, oh boy, that's you were just calling it. Mount Carmel pushed him back with Lane Tech mistakes, and then the miraculous play. It's really remarkable. We thought Lane Tech would have been stuffed twice. Instead, they've gotten 2 miracle touchdowns, and they now have a 14-7 lead. We've got 1:41 left in the first half, and we have a great football game on our hands.
Whodunit, brought to you by Rolaids. John Wooden led UCLA to the NCAA title in 1964, and that started a string of 10 championships in 12 years. Texas Western beat him in '66. Can you name the only other team to tread on Wooden's turf? Whodunit?
Rolaids knows. On this assembly line, the crew gets heartburn. And when they do, they can't stop. No wonder millions take Rolaids. Rolaids antacid medicine consumes 100% of the acid required to give millions 100% relief. With Rolaids, you can keep going.
Now there's also new sodium-free Rolaids. Sodium-free and rich in calcium, a new source of calcium for women. New sodium-free Rolaids or regular Rolaids for 100% relief.
In 1974, the title went to David Thompson and NC State.
Well, we're back. Remember the nose tackle that we were talking about who has come up to our booth? He was last year's Prep Bowl MVP, Mike Zopko from De La Salle High School. Michael, how you doing? Are you enjoying the game?
Enjoying it a lot. Exciting game, back and forth. I like it.
Do you miss it? Do you wish you were on the field?
Yeah. Well, I wish I could go out there right now.
I know. You see, every time O'Hara starts scrambling, you have fire in your eyes.
Yeah.
I want to get him. What are you doing now?
I'm up at Beloit College right now, playing nose tackle up there, trying to win my way into the starting position. I'll probably be starting next year, but...
Well, there's no way they can hold you down after what we saw here last year. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
Hey,
Mike Zopko.
How big are you now, Mike?
5'7" now.
5'7" and what?
My boots, 5'8".
5'8" and what, about 140 pounds, 150?
170.
170, beefed it up. Boy, he's playing nose tackle in college.
He's big enough to kick our butts, Tim.
Well, I don't doubt that for a minute. I will never forget his performance last year, one of the great courageous performances that I've seen in a high school game. And we're seeing some of the similar kind of performing down on the field right now. As Mike Danko looks over the middle and he finds Chris Calloway. Nice tackle there by Chris Spade, who has been very impressive in the Lane Tech secondary. Calloway looks to be, Mike, just a hair short of that first down. We have 1:27 and counting left in the half, and he is short of the first down. So here goes Mount Carmel in the hurry-up offense. They've got to get it cranked up. They trail 14-7, and now 1:15 left in the half. Danko looking to throw. Can't find his primary receiver. Gets the secondary one, and it's Calloway, who does have the first down. Spade and Faulkner both combined to bring him down.
Initially, Mike Danko was looking for Melvin Johnson, number 1, who was split out wide to the right. Johnson was covered, so he went backside and picked up his secondary receiver.
Boy, they really moved that play quickly, too.
Chris Calloway, we told you he was fast.
All right, here's Danko looking again. About a minute left. Over the middle, and a nice play by Bill Garrett, number 84, dropping back into the zone. Dennis Green down on the sidelines. What do you think, Coach? Can they get it in here in 59 seconds?
Well, I tell you, it's really going to be difficult because Lane Tech is doing a good job with their pass defense, and I think that in order to go deep with 59 seconds, they're probably going to have to try to get a crossing pattern.
That's what they were looking to.
And remember, Tim, Mount Carmel has already expended 2 of their timeouts.
That's right. All right, he gets it wide to Bonner. Bonner, who wisely gets out of bounds. He's knocked out by Brian Aranza, the left corner for Lane Tech. Looks to have picked up about 8 yards on the play. So at 53 seconds to go, Carmel's facing a 3rd and 2 or 3. Let's call it 2. There's Frank Lenti yelling some instructions to his quarterback, Mike Danko. Lenti, well-heeled in the Catholic League tradition, Mike, as you mentioned earlier. There's Danko looking over the middle. Almost picked off by Garrett. Melvin Johnson was the intended receiver there.
Billy Garrett led Lane Tech in tackles last season with 90, this past year rather, with 91. And what makes him an outstanding college prospect is the way he is able to drop back into pass coverage.
It's usually the weakest part of an inside linebacker's game when he gets into college. All right, Danko on 4th and 3 now, going for it all. He's throwing it up. He's well covered. Oh, my goodness, and he caught the ball, but out of bounds. Nate Turner made a sensational catch. But he was out of bounds, and it's not going to count.
Well, with 42 seconds left on the clock, it was time for the Hail Mary. And
you know, O'Hara was in on that play, Mike. If you recall the Bogan game, which Lane Tech won in a dramatic fashion, O'Hara was brought in the last minute on defense and made an interception to preserve that victory.
And they bring less in on the nickel situation, or 5 defensive backs, and now Lane Tech has taken over, and Lane Tech really, with the ball in Mount Carmel territory at the 46-yard line, they have a chance to add a couple more points on the board, although they don't have a field goal kicker per se.
It looks like they're just going to sit on it, Mike. They have the prevent offense in there. O'Hara kneeling down, and I suppose Bronswck's going to have to kick the ball away as we start the second half, but he's very pleased with that 14-7 lead and doesn't want to take any chances, I guess.
Well, we've seen some outstanding performances so far this afternoon, Tim.
We did last year, and every year we're out here. Remember George Streeter from Julian last year, who really stamped himself as a big-time college prospect with the way he played. Wound up getting a scholarship at Notre Dame. And O'Hara is just going to let the time run out as Lane Tech goes into the locker rooms with a 14-7 lead over Mount Carmel. An exceptionally well-played first half from both sides of the line. You couldn't say that you're surprised, are you, that Lane Tech's sitting on the lead?
Not at all, because we know Frank Lenti has said it about Lane Tech. Mount Carmel's coach said it about the Indians, that, hey, they're as good as any Catholic League team we've faced all year, maybe any team we've faced all year, and they've shown it this afternoon.
Both touchdowns were really, the similarities are really stunning. It looks like that you've got Lane Tech stopped and they come up with a great big play. But Dennis Green, we've known all along that Lane Tech has some big play players, don't we?
Well, we really do. You know, with Les O'Hara and also Cochran inside, you know, they've been outstanding. Now, I'm here with Coach Bronswck, and he mentioned earlier about the passing attack. Coach, what do you think has been the key for you in your first half, 14 points?
Well, it's been the pass. We're trying to keep them off balance. We're running that veer. They're on our fullback, and we're getting to the outside. But to keep them honest, we're throwing the ball every once in a while.
What do you think as far as the second half with your defense, with a 7-point lead? How important will Bill Garrett be, and how's his ankle?
Well, Bill's ankle is fine as far as I know, and the defense has to play really tough. Mount Carmel is a good football team, and there's no way they're going to give us a game. We got to stay in there and play real tough defense, especially that pass.
Coach, great first half. Good luck in the second half. Okay, back to you, Tim and Mike.
All right, Dennis Green with Coach Sam Bronswck, who goes into the locker room, a 7-point leader at this point. And he's certainly got the situation pegged, Mike. Mount Carmel's not going to give it away.
And you think Dennis is excited, boy?
Hey, listen, this broadcasting business is almost exciting as coaching. We'll continue with more excitement right after this.
So you're the soft touch.
That's me.
Whoa!
Whoa.
Excuse-moi.
Who are you?
Banner's the name.
That's my name.
Banner paper towels.
Something new.
New and tough on spill.
Oh, yeah?
Look at how much more I soak up than other towels, costing the same.
Hey, you're tough to beat.
We're both tough to beat.
We're the Banner Boys.
Banner toilet tissue.
And now paper towels.
It's tough to beat the Banner Boys.
Yeah.
Today's investor has plenty of choices. Money market funds, CDs, bonds. But interest rates change, and what goes up often comes down. Fortunately, there's AJOB, a secure investment alternative that pays 13% interest for as long as you own it. That's 13% locked in, and you receive it by check in the mail every month. So if you're tired of the ups and downs of investing, call AJOB and start earning 13% today.
It's going on now. The running of the 48-hour half-price marathon sale at the Waterbed Mart. $300 waterbeds are half price. $400 waterbeds are half price. And look, this entire kid's water bedroom set is half price too. Plus, the finance deal you've been waiting for. No down, no interest, and not a penny to pay till March of '86. The 48-hour half-price marathon sale ends Sunday night, only at the Waterbed Mart. Oh, check the white pages of your phone book for the Waterbed Mart nearest you.
Deck the
No matter what you do this holiday season, you'll want to stop and take time out for Highland's Holiday Sale with some of the lowest prices of the year. Like this Tappan 30-inch gas or electric range, just $244, save $55. And this Zenith 25-inch color console TV with remote control, only $437, save $162. Highland's Holiday Sale ends Monday night, so don't be left out in the cold.
And we're back live at halftime of the Prep Bowl with Lenti leading Mount Carmel 14-7. Watching Sam Bronswck talk to Dennis Green, Mike, it's really, I was talking to his son before the game, Bronswck. When you're a high school football coach, you eat, sleep, drink, breathe football. It's great. It's really, it's a total lifestyle.
Especially at this time of year, too. You know, you'd think they'd be kind of burned out after playing so many games and after being eliminated from the state playoffs, per se. It just goes to show you that this Prep Bowl, even though it's lost some of its significance over the years, is still an important game, still an exciting game, and still great for the city of Chicago.
Football coaching, of course, is like broadcasting or farming or anything. It's more than just a living. It's a lifestyle. Dennis Green does it for a living, and it's a lifestyle. But, Dennis, one thing you can say for the high school coaches, they don't have to recruit as much as you have to recruit, although they do recruit. How's your recruiting doing?
Well, I think our recruiting is really moving along real well, and there are a lot of players on the field today who we have a great deal of interest in. Of course, Chris Calloway is an outstanding player. Nate Turner next year is going to be one of the best around. When you look at Lane Tech and Bill Garrett on defense, he's a guy that's making a lot of things happen. They're running some blitzes. He's applying a lot of pressure on Danko, and I tell you, he's all over the field. Les O'Hara, Cochran, there are a lot of good players out here today.
Dennis, we were talking about Bill Garrett again. He has a great drop in pass defense. Does that make him a college prospect, that aspect of his game?
It really does, because, you know, right now at Lane Tech, he plays inside linebacker, but he can play inside linebacker, probably outside linebacker, though, at college. A lot of people look at him because he has tremendous quickness. He is 6'2", he weighs 215 pounds. He has great size potential. He's a very good football player.
Well, there's so many very good football players. We talked to Mike Zovko earlier, the MVP. Nice little guy who just in there and does it all. Then you have the big-time prospects like Garrett. And we have a big-time prospect of our own back in the studio. He's got lots of sports action and sports highlights and information for you. I'm talking about JR, Jim Rose, without the hat. But, Jim, how about taking over the halftime show?
All right, Tim and Mike, you guys are doing a fantastic job. Although I don't envy you, I like being in this nice, warm studio. All right, gentlemen, we'll see you in a minute. Welcome to the halftime report here on Channel 7. Tim, Mike, and Dennis will return with highlights of the first half of today's Prep Bowl. What a game, Lane Tech and Mount Carmel. But let's take care of getting you up to date on what's happened in sports since Tim last reported to you 10 o'clock last night. On the West Coast, the Portland Trailblazers just plain blazed our Chicago Bulls in a loss that Coach Stan Albeck labeled, quote, a complete abortion. Pretty rough words. Quentin Bailey was felled by the flu, and it seems the team went in the toilet after that. The Bulls 107, Portland 122. Let's take a look at the highlights. It was not a good trip for Stan Albeck. Kenny Carr with a tip jam here. Portland leads 10-7. And then Jim Paxton, the brother of the Bulls, John Paxton, goes in for a nice layup. 22 points for him last night. Now, Orlando Woolridge for the Bulls doesn't have an easy time with this ball, but he ends up with the layup here, coming off the ground, and Big O off the glass. Now watch George Gervin come up next. He was the high man for the Bulls with 21 points. But Portland has a 21-point first quarter lead. First quarter. The Bulls never caught up. Kiki Vandeweghe will get the dunk on the other end here after Sid Green loses it. Vandeweghe had 23 to lead everybody. Now watch the next one. Big Michael Thompson, the Bahamian, shoots the ball, and Jawan Oldham goes down. And then Sid Green goes down, pushed by Kenny Carr. And then Carr steps on Green. He throws Orlando Woolridge to the ground. He was ejected from the game, and Woolridge was later ejected from this contest. And the brouhaha as Jackson Kinney tries to break everything up there. The Bulls are 7-2, but a loss last night in Portland. Meanwhile, at Boston Garden last night, Patrick Ewing, who grew up in the Boston area, stumbled before the big crowd as the Knickerbockers visited the Celtics. Quite traveling here. The big 7-foot All-American from Georgetown scored a pro career high of 29. And QB Brown has got to be having sleepless nights. Larry Bird, the story last night, he scored a game high of 31 points. Dishes to Kevin McHale here, tries to shoot, and tempers will flare a little bit after he was hauled to the deck. But then the referees got it settled down a little bit. Nick kept on hustling. Look at Rory Sparrow. Goes after the basketball and ends up right in the camera's lens. Boom. The Celtics lead the Atlantic Division, a record of 14-2, 5 games better than the New Jersey Nets, who are in second place. At Detroit, the Chicken was strutting his stuff as the Pistons took on the Bucks. Kelly Kapuka will lose the ball, and after a wild scramble, Milwaukee will come up with it on a fast break. Ricky Pierce will get the layup at the other end, and the Pistons come back to win the game 111-102. They now trail the Bucks by a game in the Central Division. And in Dallas, ex-Fighting Illini player Derek Harper is looking good and playing good. Harper on a fast break here with a pass from Brad Davis. He will go behind the back to Jay Vincent. Off the glass, it's good. And then Harper with a nice move for the layup of his own coming up. And the Mavericks go on easily to beat the Sacramento Kings, 133-111. Dallas improves to 8-7 on the year. Kings are 5-11. Other scores, New Jersey over Atlanta. It was the Clippers losing to San Antonio last night. And in other games, it was Phoenix losing to Houston, Denver 129, Utah 114, and the Lakers split past Seattle by a point, 108 to 107. In the National Hockey League tonight, the Chicago Blackhawks continue a 5-game road trip when they face the Kings in Los Angeles. And the Hawks, who are 9-10, are tied with St. Louis, 21 points apiece atop the Norris Division. It is the weakest in all of professional hockey. In NHL action last night at the Cap Center in Landover, Maryland, the New York Rangers get some help from the Washington goaltender Pete Peters to score a goal and tie it at 1 apiece. But later, Matt Pavelich will break the tie at 9 minutes of the first period as the Rangers upset the Capitals. It was the Caps' first loss in 7 games. Well, that takes care of professional sports, and when we come back, we'll take a look at college basketball and some scores from Scholastic Hoops as well on today's Halftime Report. Stay with us.
My HMO has provided quality health care you can trust for over a decade. It's the Michael Reese Health Plan.
My HMO lets you choose a doctor with advanced training. It's the Michael Reese Health Plan.
My HMO has convenient health centers associated with fine community hospitals and one of the country's foremost medical research centers. It's the Michael Reese Health Plan.
Quality health care is why my HMO should be your HMO.
Ask your employer about the Michael Reese Health Plan.
So you're the soft touch.
That's me.
Whoa! Excusez-moi.
Who are you?
Banner's the name.
That's my name.
Banner paper towels.
Something new.
New and tough won't spill.
Oh, yeah?
Look at how much more I soak up than other towels, costing the same.
Hey, you're tough to beat.
We're both tough to beat.
We're the Banner Boys.
Banner toilet tissue.
And now paper towels.
It's tough to beat the Banner Boys.
Yeah.
Every day is gonna be your day. You know the feeling and you know the way. Your style brings out the best. You know what it takes to live life refresh. 'Cause Coke is me and Coke is you. Coke belongs to you and everything you do. You know you're going one better. We've got a taste for you. Coca-Cola.
That thing works like a Chevy truck. But me and my buddies want to get away on a rough, tough expedition. What works for us is my rough, tough sport truck, Chevy S10 Maxi Cab. It's got room for all our survival gear, and more room inside than any compact pickup ever. So bring on the wild, bring on the mouse. There's nothing like roughing it. Hey, if it doesn't fit my S10, it doesn't fit my life. Nothing works like a Chevy truck. Nothing.
In college basketball tonight at the Rosemont Horizon, the Loyola Ramblers will take on the North Carolina State Wolfpack. That game starts at 7:30. Loyola is 0-2. North Carolina State is 2-0. Up in DeKalb, the DePaul Blue Demons will open the season. They'll face the Northern Illinois Huskies. Don't forget, tomorrow morning, the Ray Myers Show, the coach and I will talk about tonight's game, and we'll take it apart as only the coach knows how. Meanwhile, the Fighting Illini will face Oklahoma tonight for the championship of a Thanksgiving Classic in Honolulu, Hawaii. Lowell Hamilton scored 14 points last night. He's the young man from Providence St. Mel, a freshman playing for Lou Henson. And Illinois 72, Hawaii Loa 45. The team they'll play, Oklahoma, beat Marshall last night 81-70. Let's take a look at college basketball from last night. A great early season matchup for the Duke Blue Devils against the St. John's Redmen. And it was Walter Berry having his best day in the college ranks. 35 points as they played tough the whole way. Watch the All-American guard, Johnny Dawkins. He'll go in for the layup. He will miss it on a great attempt. But his teammates right there to squeeze it on in. Louis Carnesecca says he doesn't need the sweater back this year, but he does need Chris Mullen at guard for him. 21 seconds left in this contest. Duke with the ball. Here's Dawkins outside. Yes! And the Blue Devils go up ahead 71-70. Redmen have a chance to win it, but Mark Jackson misses the shot, and Duke wins by a point over St. John. In another of the Alaska shootout games, way up in Anchorage, the Tar Heels of North Carolina, ranked either first or second, depending on the poll you watch, took on the Missouri Tigers. Here's Kenny Smith down the middle of Monster Slam, 84-63, and North Carolina wins, keeping Dean Smith happy. In the third of that great Alaska shootout contest last night, the Running Rebels faced the defending champion Villanova Wildcats, who were decimated by graduation of Stan Jones for UNLV with a big slam. That'll make the highlight reels. The Rebs win by 22. Now checking high school scores. Simeon last night all over Calumet. Westinghouse whipped Scherr.